And good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Praise Jesus. And welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. I am he, your Sensei Bob, your griot. And God's love is all there is, pretty much. And yesterday was Easter. And I had an amazing epiphany. I woke up, and normally I kind of look like a hobo, right? And I'm starting to spiff up. I went to the thrift store and I bought this coat and a few other things. And whenever I eat, I usually end up wearing my food. so, and people, look at it. That's why I look like a hobo. So here, I'm going to take this off so I don't mess up my new fancy jacket. And I got it big enough so I can wear other things underneath it, like this nice little thing that I got, very nice, and my turkey vest and this nice little coat. So coffee, thank you, darling, and a lemon for that. And
Yes, sir.
could you bring me a styrofoam cup with coffee in it so I can use it as my thermos so I don't have
Okay.
to flag you down?
Okay, you want one now?
Yeah. With a lid on it to keep it warm. You have the most beautiful smile, Allie.
Thank you, sir.
And your cheekbones are just perfect.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's very nice.
Yep. You're like shining with all of God's love.
They are a little bit.
Yes, but they're great. I mean,
I'll be right back with your lemon and your coffee.
okay, thank you, Al. And so, yesterday I woke up, and yesterday morning was one of those most unbelievable. It had been raining that week, and it had rained real hard. Um, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? My little rain gauge said we had 8 inches of rain, right? And so I woke up and it wasn't a cloudless sky, and it wasn't that silver chemtrails thing. There were no chemtrails. There was nothing. It was like blue, dark blue. And I basically was like, whoa. And so, I kind of went outside to see what temperature it was, and it was just around 28, right? So I was, just my flip flops, and I watered the grass, and I kind of did a little of my katas, and then went back and went back to bed because I'm in the deep holler, and the light really doesn't come in my windows until about 10. And I basically kind of went back to sleep, and I just had this most beautiful, translucent, golden dream, right, of who and what we are, right? And so guys, what did you get? That looks like a good breakfast. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, baby. And what is that sausage you got? What kind of sausage is that? Oh, I'll have to try that. But it just looks. I'm a guy. I do the same thing all the time. I can depend on it. Where you guys from? Well, see, I'm a chatty Cathy, right? So anyway, I had this amazing dream, right? And when I woke up, all the light was shining through my dark little cave, and it was amazing because everything was lit up in there. And normally it doesn't do that, but there is a little window between 8:30 and 9 a.m. that it just comes up over the thing before it starts to hit the trees, and it comes in those windows. And around 10 something, the sun comes up higher, so the furthest window that way gets all that light and stays lit till about 11. And so it was, the whole, it was like glowing. And my, let's see, if I can give you a picture of what the deep cave looks like. I think I can. Put this over here. This up there. Oh, she gave me a lot of money. This Allie girl is on the money. So, Allie, how long have you been doing this?
I've been here for 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably one of the longest people here. No?
Maybe, but there's some that are a lot longer.
You're doing a great
They
job.
do come and go pretty fast. It's usually-
Well, it's a college town, Kids get a job for a little bit, get some money.
Works out really good for me because I get off on the weekend. They go to school all week.
Right.
So they're willing to work the weekends. They love it. I love having off.
Yes, you have the weekend. It's like a real job.
right. And I get to go to functions and birthday parties and that. So
So what do you like to do? What's the functiony thing you do?
we go to the lake and
Okay.
the river and
Watoga Lake?
go kayaking. Yeah. We love it. It's fun. Watauga Lake is so pretty.
I live on it.
Yeah.
And it's
really.
got so many little lakes all over the place.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got 1,200-mile coast of all the.
Really? Yeah.
It's-
It's a lot bigger for sure than that one in Wilkesboro.
Yeah,
That
oh,
was
yeah,
big.
no, that's just pond.
Yeah. Compare.
Yeah.
It's pretty either.
Yeah, hello, it is. It's going to change, though.
You think?
Well, a large corporation has come up and bought up every ounce of coastline that isn't owned, and all of the mountaintops up around it. And they've already cut down 1,000 acres of trees. So it has already changed the water table. It has already caused some powder folk to lose their wells. It has already started to cause the death of all the plants because they're just spraying Roundup everywhere.
Wow.
And that's just 2 years. And they've already destroyed all the roads because those are all little farm roads.
Yeah.
And they brought in like 40-ton concrete
And
trucks.
they're messing them up.
And they're just pushing them off the side. And,
Yeah.
and they're not doing
Even
it.
where we go to the boat ramp is a little tiny road. It's
Right.
Little.
Right.
Yeah, so I can imagine a big truck messing that up.
So you go to the boat ramp off 321?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
It's
right.
the first one you come to, not that Rat Branch one. The
Right.
first one.
Just before the school and the church.
It's like in a little neighborhood.
Yeah. Right. Well, so that little neighborhood is the federal forest.
It is.
And those houses are what was there before they built the dam and turned it into a national forest, right? So those
It's like
things.
the original town.
Yeah.
Is that Butler?
No, Butler. Oh, Butler.
Hampton?
No. It was just a hamlet,
It is.
right? Just a hamlet, But if you take that road and there's all those nice little houses, and then there's these hills that roll up behind them, the company has bought it all and cut everything down. And they're just going to put $1
They're
million
going to ruin it.
beyond.
Yeah. The best part about Watauga Lake is it's not all built up. It's very scenic and gorgeous.
Well, it's not going to be that way
They're going to
anymore.
ruin it, huh?
And what it is, the large corporation is a shell for the mob, and they're laundering the money. So they went in there 2 years ago with about $80 million, just
Wow.
like cockroaches.
Oh, it's so sad.
And have you ever been to Banner Elk?
Yeah.
That's Banner Elk.
Yeah.
Banner Elk was a cute little town, nothing going on. The mob came in
Yeah.
and the same thing with Blowing Rock and Boone.
Oh, Boone. Yeah. It's different from when I was a kid.
Oh, you grew up here? You're a Boone
I've been
girl?
coming here since I was little. My grandfather always had a home that we visited. So I've been back and forth to Florida since I was a kid.
What part of Florida?
Davie,
Uh-huh.
South Florida.
I used to have a place in Stewart,
Oh, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
another place kind of in the Keys.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, really? So you were back and forth too, huh?
well, kind of, but not really. I had a business that took me everywhere. So I would like the place I have here. I just stumbled on it and I found the bank, and I said, so you went, and it was the house in Stewart. You know how? Did you know that Stewart used to be where all the old Hollywood people used to come,
Really?
and all like where US One, where you go over the bridge, US One, and it has all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's that one restaurant there.
I've only been through Stewart. I haven't really been on the shore there.
Well, all of that was Hollywood people of the 30s, and that was their, and because it was like protected,
Yeah.
because there's that intercoastal and all of that, yeah, and so they bought big chunks, built big houses, and then like that restaurant, they had their little clubhouse and their little marina and their this, and now it's all that,
Yeah.
and
Oh, it's all built up now down
so it's,
there. Yeah.
but it's still Stewart was, especially in '08, was like a place that was lost. So one of those little peninsulas that some movie star built a big house because the sewer system broke and it smelled terribly bad,
I can imagine.
and the county didn't do anything about it. I bought it for nothing. I mean, ridiculously nothing.
Oh,
And I found a Hispanic. Right. Bring my food. See, I can talk forever. Right. I just tell stories. Right. And so there I was in the deep green and in my man cave, and it was beautiful. Now, all of that I just explained is happening to the deep green in spades because this one family of cockroaches from Florida have come in, and they're petty criminals. They're not even a mob, right? I've been there 20 years. No one ever got robbed. They've been here there 2 years. Everyone but me got robbed because they have come and looked around, and so that I have nothing to rob. No big screen TVs, no nothing, right? They want to get some screwdrivers, they can have it. They want to have some underpants, I got them. But they're used, And how I wash my clothes, I don't have a washer dryer. I kind of do, but I can only use it when it's warm because it's outside. It's in the woods with a tarp over it. Still works. I got a hose running to it. I got electricity running to it, and so. But in the cold times, I have to put my clothes on the line and let it get rained on or snowed on, and I spritz a little cleaner on it, and that's what I do, right? So, and I have a dryer, so I let the sun dry it, and then I throw it in the dryer and cook it up real good, and it's all good. So, I mean, guys, I live in an idiosyncratic way. It's like that lady, right? I'm kind of interested in her, but she's on the clock. She's got to go, right? She can only give me 3 minutes of a conversation, right? Which is fine by me. I mean, I'll talk her ear off, right? So, what happened in Florida? What happened in California? All those people are coming here and going, I had to get away from it. And they brought all the things that they were running from, they brought to heaven. Right? And in 2 years, it has degraded by 60%. And it is so sensitive that all the trees are going to fall down. There's going to be, it's a basic rainforest. And when I got here 20 years ago, it was a rainforest. It rained every day, 3 inches at least, right? And then we'd have holler washers that would push 10 inches of rain in 4 hours, right? But it's a big forest. It soaked it right up. We have gigantic lakes, soaked it right up. Not going to happen. And she said, Butler, when I built the dam, they were going to build it back in the 30s, and then the Depression came, and so they put it off, and then World War II came, and they kind of put it off, but they had already kind of prepared and built the roads and got it going, and in 1950 whatever, they went at it. In 1961, they flooded the lake. And one of the main reasons why they do it, around where I am, is super paranormal. I mean, whoa. And it's there is some hot spot, that's what they're called in the euphemistic community, hot spot. Bermuda Triangle is a hot spot. And there, wherever you find a pyramid, it's a hot spot. There's a lot of pyramids. There are pyramids all over America, all over North America, all over South America. And in a lot of ways, they're older than the ones in Egypt, right? So anybody? Oh, there's two people there. Any questions so far? Yeah. So that's this is a thing that we have this is what they call a chat. So if you really want to get something out of your griot here, ask me a question. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep blabbing on about what I want. Kids are playing. It's cute. Cute. Yeah, I'm 5 tables away, so it's cute to watch them, but not to have them right there. So, if you've ever seen The Family Guy, that is the family of cockroaches, right? And the Family Guy's wife, Lois, that's Lois. Lois is a nurse, and basically that family is a mix of Family Guy and 70s Show, right? And the Peter, the father, his father is Grandpa Cockroach, right? And he wants to be still 21, screwing everyone, making meth deals, etc., and have big cars. But he's a busted up guy, right? And he's always, I'm a Christian, and you're damned, I'm going to heaven. And he's like, everyone's a sinner. He tells everyone how terrible they are. Instead of praise Jesus, right? Why would God waste his time with us if we were made in his image and likeness? We're just not, it's like smart kids go to school. Well, he's really smart, but he's just not living up to his potential. Now, the bottom line about Jesus, in regards to us, is that Jesus is, I don't think anyone in this mortal coil at this moment is going to be Jesus. Now, they can do their best to follow in Jesus' path. And that is what's needed. Right? So Al, how's the meal? He's ignoring me. I use my projecting voice. Yes, the cockroaches. So they are quite an interesting family. So just like the Family Guy, Peter has a lot of. That's why Lois stays with him, even though she has sex with the dog. And a habba guy. And she has a job where she's a traveling nurse, so she's 90% of the time never there. And she's the breadwinner because she does all these things. So he's running around trying to be a contractor. And the biggest problem with being a contractor is that you can't keep up with your nut. Meaning you can get this job, they give you a slice of money to go buy the materials, and then you start working on it, and you got people, you got to pay them, and then they don't give you the next nut until you're done. But you still have to pay gas and all the rest. And out here in the middle of nowhere, if you're on a job, if you don't bring everything you frigging need, you have to drive 50 miles to go to Walmart or Lowe's. And it's surreal. So this guy has been doing this, and he came, bringing his lawn business. I'm going to make $100,000 a year, easy. Well, it's hard to mow the lawn in a forest, right? And the first thing he did, he came in and started weed whacking my forest. I said, no, leave it alone. And he kept doing it until he did the sides of the roads, which when we had a cully washer, it muddied the road up unbelievably. And then he swindled some guy out of his pontoon boat that had a trailer that was 12 foot wide and weighed 5 tons, and it just destroyed the road. But God works in mysterious ways. So my car has a wheelbase of 4 feet, so I could meander up that, but no problem. I go up the Forest Service Road at about 5 miles an hour. He shoots up that sucker at 50, right? And but it's only a quarter mile, and then is a hard right turn, and then another hard right turn. So it's not like a straightaway, right? And it's up 60 degrees. So, and because of all how he drives, he's put these gigantic potholes in the road. I call it the death road, and so I can meander around it, not a big deal. He goes right through it. He has gone through 2 vehicles by cracking or bending the crankshaft. You think the first time he'd slow down, second time, and he did it again. So his wife sees this, and she's making 70 grand a year as a nurse, and it's amazing. So I have hypoglycemia, so I can be a little chatty and keep going when I haven't eaten. And I've been fasting, so I haven't really eaten. So back to Easter, right? I'm laying the foundation of the story, right? Give me a picture of what the Colonel Sanders and the tweaker slaves and Colonel Sanders. So he's got kids, a wife, and tweakers, meaning guys who work for him in Florida mowing lawns, and he brought them as slaves. He doesn't pay them, and he's bought my hippie bus and he puts them up there, right? And he's giving me more money than anybody else, right? And so we've got this contract on napkins, right? But I hold the titles. But he has totally gone on and on and on about how it's his bus, he owns it, he's responsible, blah blah blah. Right? So all of the properties, 30 lots, have been sold to people who, I'm a professional. I come from Charlotte. I was a banker at a very important bank, Silicon Bank. These people who are total losers, right? They are so. I keep telling them, I'm a millionaire. I said, oh, that's so nice. Really? They look at my clothes, and I go, yeah, I'm a millionaire that lives on $400 a month. And they're like, because they're having to pay the nut on the money they borrowed over the years, like $1,200 a day, and so that's the story on the back. So I woke up, went out, and it was an amazing morning. It was like the sky was black blue, and the sun hadn't come over the mountains, but it was a bright day and crisp. Cold, I was 28 degrees, but it wasn't cold. The humidity was way down, and the wind, there was no wind, right? So it was just crisp. Right? It was amazing. It was like a fresh piece of celery, right? So I basically got up, and the stars, you could still see stars in the darker part of the sky, and it was blue, and it was crisp, and it was just miraculous. I went back to bed, woke up and I had this dream that I was surrounded by this luminescent, like God, in yes, I was going to show you a picture of my man cave. I can get this right. When I have hypoglycemia, it's like, Do-do-do-do-do. See, this is. I have a nice house underneath. I make it look like a holler house so people doesn't steal anything. And I have all my stuff out so people can go through it. They don't have to break in. It's all there. And if they go through it, it's just like cardboard boxes, rolls of toilet paper, some clothes, some this, some that. Right? And so he gets really upset because his kids drive up and down on this thing on their motorcycle. He's turned our little beautiful thing into a motocross. So he's always parked on. And if I just stop to take something out, go stop on the road. Go stop it. Oh, it's finally come. Yummy.
There's your biscuit and gravy.
See if that's warm.
Yeah. It better be.
Yeah, better be. Okay. Thank you, darling.
Well,
And my pancakes.
yes, sir.
And they're warm too.
I'll bring a little coffee
Yeah,
next time.
bring the picture right now.
Okay.
I'm going down. So. And this is great. This is like styrofoam plate, but I love it. Gravy, biscuits. I mean, they do a good job. As a corporate entity, this food is better than 90% of any of. It's better than the thing about Blue Note Felon. Has zip. When the best restaurant in town is Cracker Barrel. I can give it a bacon beef. Yesterday, some friends took me out to my friend's restaurant in Johnson City. Amazing. And the bacon is like super crisp. Not fatty or greasy like that. But not bad. Kind of hard to have make good bacon. It really is. Right? Nothing gonna work. It's interesting. None of the butter, you can't get them open. For a blind guy, I can hear. One bad boy up too. And she's doing it. But it's interesting. She has we all have a persona, falsetto, a thing we wear like a costume. I do. Look at me. Because it makes people, like I was in this, where I got my nice coat. The guys here really like me because everyone in that place is on a close-knit program. And I go talk to them about Jesus and life. And I read their poems and give them really strange, but unbelievably helpful insight. So I go in there and I'll get about $30 or $40 worth of stuff. And they'll charge me $6. And then I give them a torch. So it goes into the kitty for people who need help. So they're like, well, the manager He's about 60. He's got all these OG tattoos on his neck. When you have tattoos on your face, you know you're serious. Now, he changed his freaking life, so he is amazing. And so every time I come in, he kind of saunters over and we talk, right? And he rings me up. I have two guys across the street, you know, but there's a big line, people over there. He does, so, you know, at least doing that. Because I keep talking to people. And whenever they have a newbie there, why do they make these things black? You can't find them. So, that's kind of when I'm in state. That's what the deep green looks like, energetically. Let's see what the video is. I have the phone in my pocket. I don't. He's parked in the road again. He does it all the time. But if I even stop, he screams at me. And I don't let it bother me. You know, I don't get in an argument. I talk about Jesus. I'm a Christian. So I said, then I give him a quote from the Bible. And he's like totally freaking out because he quotes the Bible and he doesn't get it right. So he's starting to read it, and I give him a quote. And
so I'm not walking over there. How soon you got? Right. Yeah.
Is it good?
yeah, we're good.
Let me know if you need anything else, okay?
Thank you, dear. Let's see. So, anyway, so he's got a lot of interesting, and see, I'm a social scientist, so no matter who you are, you interest me, right? I'm interested in what your take on the universe is, right? So, and I'm not at all judgmental. I mean, I am because I'm a human being, so everyone is somewhat judgmental, and I'm a grits boy. Yum, 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 yum. So, I wake up and most amazing sky. Like mostly it's silver or gray, you know. So here's I worked on back in the day in the three counties when I would pitch in with my friends who were contractors. And so this guy, he was a contractor, but he couldn't get a mason, right? So I knew how to do this. It's called stacking, right? And basically, I went to the stone place where I bought all those. They would come in big pallets of these stones, right? And, anyway, so I knew that was there. I hadn't been there, but I knew where it was. I went there. I went and got, how many square things I needed to build those walls. And when I was there was a guy who was like, working there, like driving a forklift. And he goes, "Oh, you're gonna do some snacking?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "You know how to do that?" I said, "Well, probably not as good as you." He said, "How do you know?" Because I said, "I'm an electrician. Huh? Well, I've been a contractor, and I built some pretty fancy houses in New York, and I came across a guy who did this, and he worked with me, and I would help him. I'd be his helper. Right? So I've done a good deal of it, but I've not been the number one guy, right?" He goes, "Oh." And we go, "So you need a guy?" I go, "Boy, do I ever. Sure, no, come on." So I got the stuff. In the summertime, when he got off work at around 3, he came over. We laid it out. We started, and all of those kind of things. Most important is the foundation, when you start, right? Anyway, he helped me do that. And then we kind of graded the stones and we kind of laid out which stone, right? And then, next day he went to work. I was putting them together. One of my helpers, I showed him how to do this. He was doing that while I was going around making sure everybody was doing whatever they were doing. And that's how we built those walls. It was a team effort. And that's when it works out the best, when it's a team effort. And so Cody has to do everything himself, so he runs around and he never finishes anything. So he's got 3 jobs. He's got this one guy's house where he's got the roof wall, and he hasn't finished it. And it's whipped cream. So it's and so he's already on to the next job, and half the roof is off, and it's already rained really hard twice. So, and while I was working there, at some point, for some reason, the house got robbed. And another house that down the hill from us got robbed, and the guy went totally nuts about paying robbed. I came here to get away from me. And I'm not saying that Colonel Sanders did the robbing. But like yesterday, when I came back from church, I was having this beautiful meal, and my friends took me out to lunch. We had all the roads blocked. The Quaker friends, beat up pickup truck, blocked the whole road, and it looked like a motor club. There were about 12 guys with their 4-wheelers and motorcycles. And the microphylum of those forests are very, very sensitive. And you get all those guys, not so much the vehicles digging up the ground, that's not a big deal. But what's the issue is, motorcycles and 4-wheelers, they have no, exhaust. It puts out the worst crap because it's a small CC engine. It fits into a thing where they don't have to have catalytic converter. Right? And the exhaust is like right down there. And the only thing they have barely is a an exhaust system. It's a thing that's covered in asbestos to keep you from burning your leg off. Right? And so Colonel Sanders, he was in his own mind a great motorcycle champion, and then he had a terrible accident when he was about 17. So that made him hung up. So he is, those parents who are little leaguers screaming at their kids. That's what he does with his kids, and he takes them to these motocross. And Every Sunday he would go for the last 2 years to Virginia, like 500 miles, in his big Tahoe. Must spend $300 on gasoline, right? Big trailer, motorcycles. And he'd leave Friday and come back late Sunday. So my weekend, there'd be nobody there. This Sunday, Easter, we covered with people walk through the forest. When the rich people come this summer to build their houses, they're not going to be happy that these guys have turned their lot into a motocross. So, I mean, I've been there 20 years. There was nobody there. So, yes, I stuck my hippie bus right there that I thought was my property. It's not. But there was nobody there. Tell me it's different, right? No one cared. No one said anything. It was what? And so anyway, he's always drunk. You know, he spends about $20 every day on alcohol. And you know, in the handbook of Alcoholics Anonymous, if you can't not drink a day, you're an alcoholic. So he owes now. He's paying me mostly for the bus, and he finds every excuse not to give me the last $200. So, and he has the tweakers living it, and they follow him around. So they don't come to crash in the bus until like 12 o'clock at night because he wants company while he drinks because his wife doesn't. And he doesn't realize what he's going to lose. You know, his kids used to love him because he was wild, crazy, loads of fun. Well, he ride motorcycles everywhere, right? But the oldest is now 16. He'll now graduate high school. She's, you know, totally bored with school. And she's trying, you know, she's smart. She's not going down the route alcohol and drugs like her father and her grandfather. But she's trying she's had sex with every boy there, right? And now everyone thinks she's a harlot or whatever. You know, it's okay while they were showing her, but and she's, you know, doing it with everybody else. It's like, oh my God, she's terrible, but she's not. She's an interesting kid, right? She kind of is self-aware, right? More than her parents. Her mother just used to follow the path of her sadness, but the way I'm looking at it, she just waiting for these kids to grow up, and she probably put her money aside because he had me go look at a place to wire, and he, you know, I went with him and I said, okay, you know, I need to get $100 a day. Well, I'll pay you when you're done. I said, no, every day, give me $100. And not good luck, but you know, I'm in your car now. Let's go look at the job. I'll at least give you insight into the job. Okay. I said, all it's going to cost is you buy me lunch. So we got out there. He's almost running out of gas. He goes, I need money for the gas. You got to pay your share. I said, my share? You got to be kidding me. Not a problem. Let your car run out of gas. I have a friend right over there. He'll just drive me. No problem. So I don't let it be a problem for me. So I was amusing to watch him, right? How he dealt with people and all that. And this is just when I first started to meet him, right? So he called up. His wife was working. First he called up his mother and begged her to put some money in his debit account. And Mommy, please, I need what else? Yes. And she said, I gave her $100 yesterday. So she said no. Call his wife. I begged, I need the courage to back around again. Well, and he had already ordered lunch without having any money. Right? So, what happened on that one was he was going to, we're going to run out. I said, no, we're not. Not you, but everyone knows me, so we're not doing that. I've already done is I paid for mine. That means your part of lunch is only $7. Well, no, you've gotten gas and you're $10. Well, he wants to go to the liquor store and buy no bottle of vodka for that $10. And I said, I've already told him. And the cops comes in, I want it. You run, I'm going to stay here. My friend will drive me home. I have no problem. And I paid. Oh, he has to plug up the $10. He's like, for the rest of the day. Anyway, and a snapshot of my boy. And so his kids were getting tired of him. His wife was definitely tired of him. And, but he is a microcosm of the rest of the freaking world. I mean, every politician, every character that you see, because unless you're consciously aware, unless you are being there, that movie advertised, it's like forget about it. So, anyway, back to yesterday, Sunday, Easter. So I wake up and it's sparkling, and oh yes, I get so distracted. Now the food is coming in, and I'm like, I'm going to do a little meditation here. It's a picture of the deep green. Oh, here's a picture of the hippie bus. I drove that all over when I was working in rock and roll. Everyone would have to sleep in the van. I had my own RV. And this has an internal combustion engine. It really gets 20, it drives that thing 20 miles a gallon. So when gasoline was $1.50, you could go anywhere. Oh, this was interesting. Look at this. It was sleeting late at night, and then the sun came out early in the morning. And this is kind of what my deck looks like at around 9 a.m. Right? And see all of that stuff. They were like styrofoam little balls. And that was what was the sleepy snow. And it didn't melt in the sunlight. It stayed around for 2 days. I mean, this is the next day, and it had been in the 60s, and I kind of swept it up so you could see it. So, this is what's going on in our world. So here's the forest. And I go up and down, and that's about a quarter mile long. And it's pretty steep, about 50 degrees, maybe 48 degrees. And when it really rains, the water comes down. So I have all these swells, and I do us, so it doesn't run off the sides of the road. And he destroyed either side of that road with his trailer when he first got there. Here's a meal I made for John. I bought the food, and I made it. That's tofu and vegetable stir. And the 3 weeks I made a meal like that every day for him. And he would eat a little bit, go, oh, this is really great, and then run upstairs and eat Twinkies. It was my birthday. He got me this, and I couldn't eat it. Diabetes. He ate all of that at the first blush of it coming out of the mouth. So I said, no, you got to keep the happy. Right?
Now it's me. I'm warm. I'm, totally bundled up. The one thing getting a little nippy in the hands.
So this was the worst snowstorm we had.
The water spritzing out did that.
Somebody,
I, Albert DiMartino, received $600 from Cody Anderson for rent on school bus on 11/20/2022.
yep.
You got real?
Let me, thank you, dear. Let's see. You can take that place.
Okay.
And you can take this too.
Thank you.
Making room. Thank you, Al.
Reliable for anything on or around school bus.
And you might put, so rent is right, but you could say ownership somewhere in there. The balance is for the ownership of the bus.
Oh yeah, so next payment due is 3/20/2022 of $400 balance.
So here we're pushing towards May, and he hasn't paid me the balance. But he's, as you heard, he's totally responsible for it, right? And the rich people coming in and going, "Oh, I want this, right? And I'm saying, hey, don't talk to me. So, again, all of this is a microcosm of the world. What's going on in Ukraine and Russia, all of that microcosm going on in China. And the United States has some serious problems. You know what we're talking about? Transgendered bathrooms. Right? Being woke. The story of Buddha, right? He is basically sitting by the side or standing by the side of the road in the kind of luminescent penis that was going on in my bus the other day, right? And some guy walked up to him and said, "Wow, man, are you God?"
Well,
and here's Cody.
the dogs piss on the car.
Cody pissed on my car like a dog. It's unbelievable. This is Cody's dog. I wasn't around that much to getting close. But he's got about 12 dogs. He never had dogs, so he's got like 12. He's got suspicious. And she's only a year older than her 2 litters. And she comes down, and her tits are like dragging on the ground. And she goes, "Just shoot me, shoot me." So, kind of what the man cave looks like. And Grandpa Cockroach wants to buy this to live in. You have to move all this stuff right away. No, I'm not selling it to you. It's the roof. That's where I used to sleep. But I can't get up there anymore. And neither can he. I mean, he's always so smart. He'd kill himself to get down from there, right? You know. That's the view from the deck into it. But it's like, I used to make these things in the 70s in the Whitney. They were called installation pieces, right? People don't understand that it's like art. I mean, look at that. It's pretty. It's pretty. But this is what most of the deep green looks like when it leaves out. It covers up all those stuff. Right? Since Cody and all the other cockroaches have come into this valley, all these trees in just 2 years are dying. It's mind. Here's a man cave, and it's all nice stuff in a holler, surrounded by trees. So in the summertime, it's cooler by 10 degrees. See, there's my little deck garage man cave. So this is, I cleaned the bus out and then he moved it to, he was supposed to move it then. And that was 8 months ago. We signed that, that contract 8 months ago. He was supposed to have paid it off and moved it by March 20th, which I said we're moving on towards. And that's my driveway. So he turned this into a mud apocalypse. This is the bottom of the howler. See how there are these little lumps, little swirls, little, right? So I just made a path for the water to go off into the forest. So like I said, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We had about 8.
Can I take a chair?
Oh, go for it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. You're getting a big crowd, eh? 7. 7 come 11. And so Cody's dog, when they were little puppies, they had like needle teeth. They came up and just ripped my arm apart. Here they are. They've all grown up now. Charlie and the bitch, Pepper. She just jumped up on my arm and did that to me. I'm an old guy. My skin is like teeth. Here they are when they were little puppies. And he just kind of let them roam all over the place. And, they had about 8 of them. And a bunch of them just died because he ran them over because he didn't see them. One of them he stepped on it, squished. I mean, it's just, but they were really cute. So they would come down and they're totally garbage dogs. So they go through all my stuff and eat it. I mean, these guys were chewing on glass. I mean, one of my, hey, stop doing that. I'd say that, stop doing that. And they just look at me and keep going. Right? They're not my dogs, right? But they come down and, I'm the only person that, so they were annoying. As they grew older, they got more and more annoying. So I used to burn. I have very little garbage. So I would burn like 1 month of garbage, which was 1 garbage bag. Cody fills up a 2-yard dumpster of garbage a week because he buys so much stuff from Amazon. It's just, again.
Just so you know, right?
So here's, this is how he just kind of destroys the road by driving on it, because he doesn't have any consciousness of the road. So here I am, and I'm putting French drains into this road that's right on a big rock. So it's hard to dig a hole in rock. And that's why the mud would collect here, because there's no place for it to go. So I kind of, where I could dig into it, I did, and I would put a French drain, right? And so I dug all that up and put French drains right in there. So it all drains off to the sides, right? And I have to go and with my little rake, and where it's really muddy, I kind of make the patch with water to go. Oh, here is yes. So this is what my man cave looks like. This is what I sleep in. Right? It's about 20 feet long, about 8 feet wide. Right? It's like being in the space station. I put that Mylar and stuff. But man, this stuff, I put it all on the ceiling and it reflects all the heat down, right? And so, instead of like costing $1,000 to heat the place, I wear a coat. And he would go nuts. I had this really great pink coat that was like made out of space age material. He hated it because it was pink. He's so xenophobic, so homophobic. He's everyphobic, right? And his father, the other day I called him honey bun. I'm not your honey bun. Well, Jesus said that we should all appreciate the sweetness of our brothers and sisters. I mean, if these guys are like, so anyway, I woke up after being outside around 8 in the morning. I went back to sleep and I woke up again at 9. And it was like golden inside, right? Oh, so I looked around and I'm all my clothes that I've washed in garbage bags. I'm looking around to it, and that's kind of where you're all clean, but I kind of put them in there so they kind of don't get there. And so I look and this thing has no storage or anything. That's why I just stuff everywhere. And so I basically get up and I'm looking at what I'm going to put on to go to church. And in the closet that you can't get up in, there's a suit bag. Open up, and inside it there's this white shirt, brand new. I bought it at a thrift store, and a pair of black pants that are fresh. Okay? Put them on. Well, they fit like you can't believe. And they don't have a bit of food smush, right? And so I basically put them on, and I go up to church, and the guy who kind of runs it, not the minister, but the guy who runs it, and he pretty much runs everything in the council. So anyway, I'm in this thing on the internet. Well, let's see. The show's got up yesterday. There I am live. Look at this. Here we are live. Copy everything. And Easter Sunday. Yeah. Mine comes up. Thumbs up. So you like the show. So go look at those things. Anyway. So I put that on and go to church. And everyone is, because everyone sees me as a hobo. I've been in these churches now for a year. And I just go to the fellowship, the Bible, you know. I'd be a hypocrite to go to their service, right? Well, because I've been studying the Bible last year, as thoroughly as I have. I pick that Bible up at least 4 or 5 times a day, right? And I think about it, and the thing about that book is like the connective tissue of the Holy Spirit. We are made in the image likeness of God. We really are. Just like that student at yep, but really they got something there, but they're not living up to their potential. Right? Well, I tried. I really tried. I thought about it, maybe. But how could I stop drinking? Because that's all that matters, right? I pull up the wagon yesterday, 2 weeks ago. I stopped. I really, was born again, and so I stopped doing that. And then, some of my friends were, and so they said, come on, do that, come on. So I did, and yes, I was running down Main Street naked and got arrested. And when I tried, mine was not good at do or nothing, right? But by doing it, the positive intent is there. And you're basically, you're not perfect. You're a work in progress, as is God, you know. That's what God told Moses. I'm a work in progress, you know, and you are my reflection. And that's why he wanted to get the Hebrew, his chosen people, out of Egypt, because they were falling foul to their worst characteristics. You know, they were like, because it was good for business to follow the gods, the golden gods of Egypt. God wanted them. He didn't, they weren't slaves. They weren't cleaning toilets. They were middle managers. They were bankers and doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs, the Jews. And they were the Jews. They were the Hebrews, the Hebrew nation, Hebrew tribes. They weren't even a nation. It wasn't until Esther made the Jewish nation. Esther gets no whip, right? The most interesting characters in the Bible are women. Like all the other guys are morons. Like Adam and Eve. She's hot. She's smart. She's the one who God likes having walks with. Right? That's why Satan was attracted to her, not to Adam. Adam was a meal. Eve was the artist, the one who took care of business. Adam was the one who wiped his hand on his anal port and then licked it, right? Eve knew how to squat so it would come out and not mess her up. And that's why God was so protective. Women aren't so. I mean, there are some that are, but not like men. And the other thing, men are so homophobic. There are no women who, males and lesbians, that's cool. Some days, depending on what's happened in the day, they can be a little judgmental. Oh, that guy, I can't stand it, right? But they're not scared of them. They'll go away, right? Like Grandpa Cockroach. I call him Honey Bun and Sweetie. he nearly had a conviction. Right? So anyway, up until then, I'm out in the world, talking to people, telling them stories like I'm telling you, and giving readings, and everyone was having a grand old time. And then after leaving that restaurant, and again, there were lots of people. If you go watch the shows from yesterday, the one, the longer one is taking place in that restaurant. I say, how much do you still have left? And well, I got about 30 minutes left of this. So, anyway, so we left that restaurant and walked around Johnson City, and it was interesting. A lot of interesting stuff going on. So I talked again. I stopped in a couple of coffee shops and tea rather than coffee. Coffeeed out, and so when I read the Bible and then pray, this is what I jot down here. It's barely legible. Right? And then I go back, sit in my reading and writing chair, and I tap out my novels. Right? First, I get inspiration. Write it down. And then I just click it, what I call the clipboard, just sentence. And then I write around the sentence. And I go to story first. So, wake up on the Bible House, Dr. Doubled Up. It's the Bible House. Say, what? I can't even read after what I write here. Let's see.
First, you have to stand right in front of it all day long.
CDBC, Central Digital Banking.
Just so you know, there's lots of parts.
Virtue is its graces, virtue is its own reward. Bible is a human guide. So what is happiness? Happiness is the lack that does not exist. The luck that does not. Happiness is luck that does not exist. When you take happiness apart, that's what it breaks down. But instead of happiness, we should have graces, virtue, a human guide to its own reward. Right? Everyone thinks that happiness is like getting drunk or getting stoned. It's luck. Luck does not exist. So my buddy sent, I don't know where he gets these books, but he sends me, because he knows I journal, so he sends me a bunch of books. And so anyway, I had this most of everything I did yesterday was just like when I was in Bible study and they were going on and on about how humans are so venal and flawed and sinners. But every time they talk about Jesus and what he did, I would say, praise Jesus, right? Because it was really getting to me. I was experiencing that born again experience, right? And so as the crowd was coming in to go to service, I was going out. I was hobbling down the stairs. And this is something everyone has seen me do. And they know that's my rip. And I talk to people that I know and greet them. And there was Easter, and I was going on about how beautiful it was and happy Easter. And this is, you're reborn and blah, blah, blah. And everyone's kind of looking at me, going, Al is really on today. And there were people who were coming in, all dressed up. A lot of people think, wow, you look so good. That shirt is so clean. I don't see any food on it. And there's nothing in your beard. And so, normally, I can't see. I can't feel. A chunk of, a piece of bread is like, like there, and I don't see it. And oh, look, there it is. Well, yeah. But people are, hey, you got something, you got. No, no, the other side. No, not that. No, I just do that to it. Make them. Oh. To leave church after I go out in the parking lot, all the men are in there smoking cigarettes. They don't go in. I go talk to them about Jesus and talk about the burning bush and Easter Sunday and the real miracle of Jesus is that he had to do 140 things between Easter Sunday and dying on the cross, to make the prophecy come true. So everyone said, yeah, he's the, and you would think he brought people back from life and healed people and did all kinds of stuff. That guys like Doubting Thomas and Peter and John would believe that he was going to come, but they didn't. They were hiding. The girls, on the other hand, Mary Magdalene's crew, they were waiting in front of that, they knew he was coming back. So that's the interesting thing that I was talking about, like a chatty Cathy. And let's see, we've been here for 1 hour. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sensei, Al Bob. I'm Griot here to tell you, praise Jesus. Thanks be to God's unconditional love for us. His children, not sinners, his children. And it's up to you to do your best. Not be a slut. And that's what is the story of the prodigal son. And he was going to spend all his money before his dad died. And whoring and booze and all that rest. And when he shows up, Dad is like, oh, he's home. And the other brothers like, well, I've been staying here taking care of you and you get it to me, blah, blah, blah. Well, that is the whole thing. It's like, the other guy, his whole life was a trial. But the guy who stayed home and took care of everything, he got into the groove. It was no big deal. Well, he didn't have any tests, right? But if you're not tested, how much of a follower can you be? I have no teeth. So I chew things up and then sit a while and then I shoot them up some more. Right? So, kind of that's where we are in the world. Same as it ever was. And now, my scholastic people who test me all the time about what I know and etc. And I keep saying, well, this one guy sent me an email. Oh, let's see what email. Tucker Ferguson goes on about NPR being like Pravda, right? Just the propaganda of the Biden administration. Of course it is. It has always been there. And they got upset when I said that. There's no, and it was the propaganda when George W. was there. It was the propaganda when Obama was there. When Carrot Head was there. Nobody's in the position. That's not put there. There is no, democracy, give me a break. Go to the school of George Carlin. Go watch his HBO specials.
You guys doing okay?
Okay. See the Brent watch. See what essential 8 minutes of NPR.
I'm here with Medea Benjamin from Code Pink, and so just to get you up to speed on what's happening right now in Ukraine. So back in 2015, Merkel and Holland present Ukraine. They had a peace plan. It was called the Minsk Agreement. Hey, what a great idea!
Yeah.
We're going to have a diplomatic breakthrough in 2015 to avoid war. I wonder what went wrong. Well, what went wrong was Merkel admits that Minsk meant to buy Ukraine time. That they never meant it to be a peace agreement. It was a lie. That's so what they did, what they're admitting. So this is from January of this year, 2023. So there's the peace agreement in 2015, and then now they admit that the only reason they did that peace agreement was to buy time so they could flood Ukraine with weapons and build up their military, right? So former German Chancellor Angela Merkel admitted that the Minsk 1 and 2 peace protocols that sought to solve the problem. I like how they put it, solve the problem of the Donbass region. You know what that problem was? Nazis were shelling the civilians in that region, which is maybe why they referred to it the way they did last. And yeah, I don't know. So to solve the problem of the Donbass region in Ukraine was not readily meant for what it was supposedly intended to do, to have peace in the Russian-speaking populace. It was actually designed to rearm Ukraine. That is what Merkel had admitted in an interview with German weekly Die Zeit, in what is now evolving as a ruse from the West to build the military capability of Ukraine. Well, that's just Merkel saying that, right? So she probably just misspoke, and you're making a whole conspiracy out of it. I'm sure that, like, say, Holland wouldn't say that. Oh, he did. Must see Russian pranksters. And this is amazing, these pranksters. So Vovan and Lexus forced Francis Holland to tell Francois, how do you say it? Francois Holland to tell the truth. Another conspiracy theory proven to be a conspiracy prediction. Pretending to be the former president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, the pranksters Vovan and Lexus contacted the ex-president of France, Francois Holland. Poroshenko discussed with Holland how together they managed to remove Yanukovych and how the Minsk agreements were just a way to pump weapons into Ukraine. Everyone thought it was Putin who was playing for time. No, we were playing for time to strengthen Ukraine, Holland said. So you want to hear it? Here it is. I'll play it for you.
Когда мы подписывали Минские соглашения, мы знали, что война будет неизбежна. Но нам нужно было подготовиться.
Okay. So you get the drift. All this stuff was going down to 2014, 13. Now, I knew this, I'm living in the woods, just listening to NPR, the BBC, and a few other things. I knew exactly what was going on because it had gone on in Afghanistan, had gone on in Iraq, it had gone on in the Arab Spring. And it went on in Vietnam and Korea. And went on with Japan before World War II. We set them up. So I'm going to be set up again. But it's going to be a global, I mean, all of these are global shifts, but in one of the regions, right? The Cold War kind of took place, it was global, but it mostly took place in Europe, right? And about 20 minutes left. So, all of these things rumble around in my mind all the time, right? So you ask me a question, I can give you any answer, right? I'm like a Rubik's Cube. So, I basically yesterday I'm having like a transcendental experience, right? And I basically I'm having a great time. And so then I'm driving home. It's about 4 o'clock. I go to turn in, and right at the gate, it's full of tweakers and things, and they're drinking. And I park right in the middle of 321 in a way that if a truck comes up, it will hit my vehicle and be thrown into, in a burning mass, into all of these tweakers pickup trucks, and there'll be a congregation of about 10 vehicles and 20 motorcycles, because they're having a motorcycle rodeo right there on Bang, and it's, mind-boggling. So I got out of the car and leave the door open and go, "Hey, I'm drunk. Give me some of that whiskey. What's that?" And I kind of poured it all over myself instead of drinking it. And just, let's smoke some. Oh, how about you? Got any fentanyl? And these people, it's like scaring them because it's a mirrored image of who they are. And I'm doing a parody, right? And then I'm into this guy. So, hey, anybody want to go by the fire and do a 12-step program? And they're like, and they take off like cockroaches. And Colonel Sanders, he zips back home. He doesn't stick around to even talk to me. Zing, right? And clear the road. I just drive back, park my car, and start making dinner and unloading some stuff I had and going through things. It's a beautiful day, still sunny, and that's why I'm going to get home sooner rather than later. And, I there, and I make this thing that Gracie made for Easter. And potato bread, soaked in eggs, and then it would be super fluffy, omelette bread, and then I stuff it with cream cheese and not old, but a really nice German Kuchen apple apple pie that I had. And I kind of stuffed the apples and the fillings and everything into that, and the crispy crust, and then put it in my air fryer. Right? And now, unbelievable. So I had 2 of these kind of round pancakes that were about that thick. And I packed them up and I was eating a little bit. This is good. And so the motorcycle guy, and I got my red earmuffs so I can't hear anything. No problem. I'm far enough away, I don't smell that. 2-stroke death. And well, anyway, the motor stopped, and I take the little things off, and I hear some talking, so I take one of these pancakes down in aluminum, and I go to give it to my neighbors, right? And so they're like, and he said, "Hey, happy Easter." Happy Easter. You go to church, and then he just walks off. He's not, so he's really drunk. So he's not even cognizant of what I'm talking about. And I'm kind of annoyed that I did that thing at the gate, and all his tweakers, not all of them, but they all kind of left. Then they came back, and they were riding around like motocross. I mean, there was about 12 people out there racing on someone, and it's tearing it up. And that was a place where the morale's involvement to the group ain't growing now. Right? For 20 years, I could go there twice a season and get mushrooms and golden seal. Now that stuff is still there. I don't know if I'd ever want to eat it, but it's in the phylum. So anyway, and I'm wearing my earmuffs, so the noise doesn't annoy me. And part of the thing why he's doing is like he kind of, subconsciously wants to always be annoying, controlled, this, that, right? So since it doesn't bother me, I couldn't care less, right? So, and he blocks, he's like put this gigantic gate. He's turned this property up there at the end of the cul-de-sac into a compound, military compound. And half of it isn't even his property. he's put fences around blah 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 of other people's lots, but they're not there. I did the same thing with that bus, but at least I made a pad and a road to get into the property, right? So whenever that person comes back, there is a positive look. I did this. This is good, you know. And I set up where the drainage and septic would go. I kind of made that, and then go get a septic tank. But it's all ready. It's like ready to go, right? So anybody wanting to build a house, there's a pad to build a house. There's a road that goes down into the property. There's a septic leach line because instead of having a septic tank, I just hooked what I was using up to the leach line, right? So anyway, and that's I always leave things better than I found, right? So that's why I've been continually fixing the road because it's good exercise for me. It keeps the road so my car is happy and everybody else who drives it, right? But nobody ever says thank you or anything. I don't do it for the thank you. I do it, number one, because if I don't, the road will totally go into the woods and then no one will be on it. Two, it's good for it keeps me at about 190 to 210. I weighed myself in a few months, somewhere in there. And I feel good, right? So that is why I do it, right? And it keeps my car happy. A number of the tweakers who kind of begrudgingly said because when I went away for 3 weeks in January and February, I came back because no one was taking care of the road. Where the bus is and where they hang out was a muddy mess. It's even on a sunny day. So cars, everyone's cars was coated with mud on the bottom of their car, in their wheel wells, in their brake shoes. Not good for their vehicles. Right? And then I got out my little hoe and my little rake and took the mud out and spread it over the road and then put the swells back in and the water went away. And then the next day it dried up and it was a perfect road. Right? And since then, the last 2.5 months, I have been scraping and raking but I spent no more than 15 minutes doing it. I did about 15 because we had a big rain the last 2 days, so I went and cleared the swells up above. But you take care of before the water really comes zipping down the road, feeding it up, you get the water up above to go up the road. So I went up there and did that. And anyway, so I was walking down and Grandpa Cockroach stops. I said, "Hey, sweetie, how you doing?" And I had this little phantasmical gummy thing. I said, "You want some of this?" And I said, "Don't call me sweetie." I said, "Okay, honey bun." "Don't call me honey bun." "Okay, baby." "Don't call me baby." And he goes, and he had this dog. He came with this killer dog, big pit bull, but it was a puppy. It was only like 5 months old. Gigantic dog, gigantic square head, gigantic vice for a mouth. And that dog had only known that guy, right? And being mean and controlling and screaming at him all the time. So the dog was upset, right? And I basically said, the first day he came, he said, "I'm going to my place. Go right now. I said, no. You told me you weren't getting here until mid-May. I called everybody else who was going to buy this place, and they had till mid-May. So we're waiting till mid-May. Good luck." I said, "If you have $120,000 in cash right here, right now, sure, buy it. Otherwise, relax, enjoy it. I mean, here you're with your grandkids. Go be with your grandkids." So next day, we come back from being out and about, and the kids are so it's fine. So he's sitting right in the middle of my driveway, and I kind of pull up and start to back up. "Wait a minute, what are you doing?" He gets up, and I said, "Listen, just parking my car, And I said, "You go back and sit there, just move your chair." So he's got this chair that's up Colonel Sanders' death, right? Colonel Sanders threw in the back. He took his father's big $80,000 pickup truck and put one of those chairs in and drove him down there. And the guy had 5 beers, 5 empties that he left right there. And, so he's got a buzz going. And so he's got his dog there and the kids are. So I open the back of my car, get out of one of my folding chairs, sit down next to him, right? And when I parked the car, got out of the car, the dog goes, he's just protecting me. Don't get near me. I said, fine. So it isn't that. Dogs don't like standing people. Right? They don't know them. Something could happen. So, but if you are sitting down on their level, and don't put your face in their face, just sit down on their level, they know that you can't get up and they can get away from you as fast as they want. So sit down to him and we start talking. And he goes, well, we've got to make this. I said, no, I told you the other day, man. I said, you told me, I worked off your account. I changed my life to fit your needs. And now you come up short. I just learned this, that you're here today, yesterday, and now you want to. No. Well, you're a hard guy to do it. I said, no, this is what it is. I'm not being hard, I'm being nice. So tell me about you. Where'd you grow up? What'd you do? Tell me your story. And because part of the deal is that I'd have to live with this guy, right, until he finished paying me off, right? And so I want to know this guy. And all he does, I'm a Christian, and we're all sinners, we're all going to hell, and you're goes on and on. And by this time, his dog is just looking at me, and I put up my hand like this. And you put your hand out like this, right? They can't bite your fingers off. And he comes over and he smells my hand, and he gets the vibe that this guy's okay. He doesn't smell stinky like this loser that's screaming at me all the time. And he licks my hand. He goes, I like this guy. So he comes and he sits right next to me. And I just start rubbing the back of his head and his neck and his shoulders, all tensed up. Because he's been taken from what he knew and brought to this other place where there's like 20 other dogs barking and screaming at him. And he's biggest. He doesn't really fight because he hasn't been enculturated at all, right? So you're a good puppy. You're a good puppy. He's looking at me going, yeah, I'm a good puppy. So the guy said, don't touch my dog. I said, it's the dog's choice, He seems to like it. Why don't you pet it? And then he said, well, I'm on another beer. Right? And so he gets up and I said, why do you pet 5? Why don't you take those beers with you? The bottles. I'll come later. I have the car. And so, like you said, you were just here to watch the kids on the motorcycles and be grandpa. And he goes, I want more beer. And so he takes the chair and drags it up, about 300 yards, and then leaves it there and comes back and yells at the dog. Because the dog is sitting next to me, and I'm rubbing his head and his ears, and he's now lying on his back and give me his belly, which no dogs give unless they're totally trustworthy. I'm rubbing his butt. You're such a good puppy. You're just a puppy. I love you. And he's just soaking it up because no one has done this, right? So we're not in danger zone. We're 20, so I got to wrap this up because I keep doing this and then leaving you on the cliff of the story. So anyway, he starts screaming, go, 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 go. And the dog just ignores him. And so he leaves the chair there and walks up the hill, which is only like 8/10 of a mile. And he comes back with 5 more beers. And he drives back in one of the $40,000 lawnmowers. And there's no, need of this lawnmower there. They're not going to have a lawn business, right? And so he comes, and now he's got a throne to sit in, the lawnmower, right? It's all padded. It's not as uncomfortable as the metal lawn chair. And I'm sitting there still, rubbing the dog's tummy. And he's going on about how he's going to change everything. And it's not, everything's going to be different now and better. And he's going to be in control. And You go, yeah, that's good. I said, isn't God in control? I keep telling me you're Christian. Yeah, I got to do what I got to do. You know, man's got to do what man's got to do. And okay, none of that has God's service in it, right? You're not here to serve God's unconditional love. There is no love. Everything is terrible. You got to be doggy dog. You got to be ready to kill. Kill? Isn't that one of the 10 Commandments? Thou shalt not kill. That's one I don't believe in. But I got my gun right here. So, and that's why I'm telling you, I can carry a gun. I don't need a permit. Nobody can tell me I can't have a gun. I said, are you a felon? It's none of your business. And then he gets up, and he is, in the space of like 4 minutes, he's drank 3 of those beers. And I said, can I have one of those? He said, you're going to bring me one. He says, well, I don't have I don't have an opener. I said, don't they twist off? It's an all beer. No. These are really good beer. They don't have. You got to have a can. And so he's just going on and on like this, and refracturation. Hey, Bob. Hey, guys. Good to see you showed up. I'm telling you Easter story, and I'm almost out of batteries. I'm wrapping it up. So this guy, his grandpa cockroach, is showing up, and I'm in control now. Things are going to change. And so, anyway, so he's really, he's now on his 7th beer in less than an hour. And he's not, he came down to watch the kids be on their motorcycle. He's not even looking at him, not even, so I said to your grandpa, and I'm going to change them. They're going to be better. They're going to be real heroes on the motorcycle. I like their father who failed me. Okay. So he finally begrudgingly gets me a beer, and I said, so here. And I twisted off. I said, see my twisty things? And he goes, I said, and because half the bottles of beer that he opened with a rock, he broke the glass, right? And so he's just like, this is just the first deep conversation I've had with this guy ever, right? And he's supposed to buy it, and then we're supposed to share the property for the next 10 years. And, and I have 4 other people who want to buy it, right? Who have money, right? I'm cash poor right now, So, and he keeps, I'll give you cash right now for it. I said, I don't need it, Sorry, buddy. And don't you have boots, babe? Everyone has boots. I said, no, I don't buy things I can't afford. And he's like kind of losing it. And so he, starts up the thing and drives away. And he gets, the dog has been with, he's come with a big chain he puts around the dog's neck and drags the dog away with, the lawn, right? Sitting on top of $40,000 lawn. And so that's the last I see of that dog. And the other dogs come down and visit me because I'm nice to them. I mean, they would just come and bark and bark and bark and bark and bark. And it was annoying. And I would just take videos of them being annoying and talk to them in a, very pedantic kind of way. And they would just bark and bark and bark because they wanted to play, right? And then it took me like about a month or 2 to realize, oh, they just want to play. So I then would sit in a chair. I had bought a big box of little dog treats. I still got it in my car and still going through it. And I put a punch in my pocket and I would sit there and, I would have a ball and I'd throw it and they just look at me. Right? And then I would take a doggy treat and they'd come over and I would say, sit. And they would just look at me, right? Sit. Took me 2 months. Now, they're not good at the ball, but they come, they sit, I give them a dog treat. Right? And then I read a book and they lie down and go to sleep next to me. They don't do that to anybody else, right? So, Colonel Sanders, as Fitch keeps having puppies, he said, oh, you need a puppy. I said, no, I don't. I got all your dogs. They come down, visit me. We have a nice time. They go home to you. I don't have to feed them. I don't have to worry about them. I'm going to take care of them, right? So anyway, so this guy, grandpa, right? So A week goes by, I don't see anything. They're doing, they're being Mr. Contractor. He's being with them, and they start a job. They get the check, and they still haven't given me the balance on the bus. And he was supposed to pay me 2 months ago. Right? And I'm doing this job. I'm going to get some money. I'll give it to you. I'm like, okay. And it's now 2 months, and the tweakers still live it, but I don't see them because they get drunk and do whatever they do with the gang, and they, I'm already asleep by the time it gets dark, so they stroll in sometime between 9 and whatever, and then Colonel Sanders rouses them up around 6 in the morning to go up to work, right? And so anyway, so he's got a bunch of jobs stretched all over the place that he hasn't finished. There's a house that he's ripped off the roof, and he hasn't finished that, and it's rained really hard for 3 days, and I wonder what the inside of that house looks like. And he's got, I'm sure he has no insurance, and just watching this, go on to unbelievable what's going to happen. So I come home, and all of this goes on. And when I'm calling, hey, sweetie, hey, honey, hey, baby, don't call me honey, don't call me baby. And I quote the Bible where Jesus says, see your brother as a sweet piece of fruit and appreciate it. We're all babies of God. And that's why it's fun. You're a Christian, you should appreciate this. And I am like being illuminated from the joy of Easter. I'm really having like a Pentecostal moment, right? That whole day, right? And so he goes, out. I go, what? And he said, Loki's dead. And I said, what? Because I said, I haven't seen him. I was wondering where he was. He never came back down with the other dogs, He goes, yes, someone poisoned him. I said, what? And it didn't make sense. I said, how do you know? And he drove away, right? So we didn't have a conversation, right? But it really affected me because he was a sweet dog, and I was looking forward to, being his sensei, right? And like the other dogs. And when they're with me, they don't fight amongst themselves. When they're with the tweakers or, Colonel Sanders and family, they're all screaming and yelling because that's what the family does. That whole crew in the compound, that's how they act. So anyway, what can I say? So I was really bothered by it. I didn't even get to say, man, I feel sorry. My condolences. I like that dog. I'm really sad. Right? So anyway, so I go to bed, and I have this dream that I'm here in Boone, and I'm up at the Dollar Tree, and I have that experience where this homeless guy is on the bench, and I have like $6, and I give it to him. He goes, no, you need that more than I do. And I said, come on. So we kind of go back and forth, and he goes, fine, sit down, let's talk. We have this very theological conversation, and he's gotten all the stuff he got at Dollar Tree, and he bought a pack of hot dogs, because hot dogs, you can eat them straight out of the pack. I said, would you like them? I go, okay. And he did it. And we're talking and talking, and I realize that it's a never-ending pack of hot dogs. Right? It's like we've eaten 20, and there's still 5 in the pack. And then I feel my leg wet. I look down, and there is that dog, and the pit bull, and he's looking up at me with real loving eyes, but he's like looking at that hot dog, and I break off a little piece, and I get it, instead of like, he just puts out his tongue and rolls it up, and it's like, oh, man, this is so good. I love this hot dog. And then the dog starts talking. He says, I'm dead. I'm in a better place. And it's okay. And tell Grandpa Cockroach that he couldn't love me, but I loved him. And it's all for the better that I'm not with him. Because now I can move forward, and I'm with Jesus. The homeless guy is Jesus. And it's all good. And thank you for that little time, because and I said, so what happened to you? And he says, I'm in a better place. That's all that matters. Anyway, so I woke up bawling. I mean, the last time I bawled was when my second wife died in my arms, right? Then I had a lot of loss. My parents died. I took care of them for 28 years and they died, but that was good. I was with them for 28 years. We had a great time, and when it was their time, it was their time. It really emphasized that whole thing about death. It's no big deal. And so that's kind of where I'm at the day after Easter. I now am celebrating every day. It's a Pentecost. And that every day is that sense of unconditional love and of God. And every day is that conscious intent of being unconditionally forgiven. So that's it. Any questions? No one's got. Mr. Art, how you doing? Good to see you. Anybody wants to get a hold of me at the dudawake42 at Gmail, dudawake42 at Gmail. Be really nice. Somebody do something to PayPal. And seems to still be kicking. And so I'm going to get out of here before we get into the red zone. But that's the story. Been on for an hour and 51 minutes. And I love you guys. And I'm going to leave the channel. So it's the last two shows. I ran out of battery both times. Okay, that's it. I'll talk to you again soon. It may, because I don't have access to my close, I have to drive 40 miles to go on the internet. And I don't go anywhere just for one thing. I came to Boone because I had about 5 things to do. So, and this was one of them. And I'm going to say, I'll talk to you guys later. Love you.